Ladies and gentlemen, it's episode 15 of the Fresh Towels podcast, coming to you live on record from New York City. Good to be back home. Did a little bit of southeast traveling, got myself a sunburn, compliments of Clearwater, Florida this weekend. I had that Japanese skin for 2 weeks, no sunlight, nothing. In the forest, I was in a bamboo forest feeding monkeys and deers. I went down to Florida for about 25 minutes, roasted down there. Went to the pool for the first time in like a year. Shoulders on fleek, looking like a friggin', they were bright red. Bright red. First sunburn I've gotten in a long time. I don't know how you guys manage sunburn treatments out there, but I was pulling out all the stops. I'm rubbing aloe leaves on my balls. I'm doing whatever it takes. I'm wishing to the sunburn gods. I'm putting ice packs on it. Some people say shower. Some people say don't shower when you have a sunburn. What do you actually do? Some people say put butter on your skin. I'm rubbing margarine on my shoulders like I'm gonna roast myself like a turkey.
Can I ask a question? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
Why were you putting aloe? What kind of burn did you get where you needed to put it on your balls?
I just thought that it's a holistic approach, you know?
Work from the inside out. I get it. Yeah.
Everyone who's lived in Florida has done aloe on their balls.
Do you want to hear the top 5 weirdest remedies remedies for sunburn?
Top 5 weirdest remedies for sunburn.
Yeah.
Let me hear it.
Number 5 is rubbing tomatoes all over you.
Tomatoes, maybe that acidity.
Maybe. Number 4, shaving cream.
Shaving cream I could see because it has a cooling, and I think there is aloe inside of that, so I can see shaving cream. A lot of them have aloe and botanicals.
Number 3, plain yogurt. Specifically plain. I don't think they want to use
yogurt.
like
I think
the
it's
flips.
Something with the pH in it.
Maybe.
Maybe there's a pH, pulls acidity out, pulls out that burn.
Number 2, oatmeal bath.
Oatmeal bath. Again, I think it has something to do with the pH.
I feel like that would work while you're in the bath, but as soon as you get out, you just
smell like fucking oatmeal. Plus, oatmeal does not smell good.
No.
Oatmeal smell is very distinct.
And that's going to get in the crevices too.
Yeah, that's not going to smell good.
And number 1, potatoes.
Potatoes mashed?
Apparently.
You talking mashed?
We're talking cheesy mashed. It turns out starch and potatoes have a very effective method of treating sunburn pain.
I wonder if you rub slices on your body or if it's a mashed type situation.
No, I bet you just slice a potato and rub the skin on you or like the inside.
I'm such an idiot. I would just take a whole potato and just hold it in my hand and be like, I'm holding 2 potatoes, like, help me. Help me.
Like you're praying to Scientology.
Yeah.
I would probably just go eat French fries. I'd be like, I said potatoes work for sunburn.
Potatoes worked.
Yeah, it's really good for your health too, dickhead.
I got 2 fries in my nostrils.
So sunburn down, cholesterol way up.
Way up, yeah. Speaking of which, I did go to the doctor yesterday and got a new doctor because, as mentioned on this show, I'm now under a new insurance. I'm under my wife's insurance, so I had to get a new primary care. I don't know if I had to, but it felt like a good refresh. I've never had a connection to a doctor. I feel like my wife, I feel like a lot of folks have, this is my doctor from my whole life. I'll stick with this thick and thin no matter what I got to do. Insurance changes, job changes. I haven't had a doctor that I've gone consistently to since Dr. Pallant. I'm talking when I was 11. My pediatrician. He was the only doctor I had for more than 5 years, and that was from birth. Dr. Pallant's got records on me from the day I was born till about 14. But he's the only guy who's got the records. After that, I've been just jumping around. I've been freelancing. So anyway, I got a new doctor, went to the first appointment, did a yearly physical yesterday, and he was disappointed about the sunburn. Right off the bat, he's like, this guy is not responsible. You're not taking care of your skin, he said. But he's not a dermatologist. He didn't really give a shit about that.
Did
you
tell him that?
What? No, he said, you got to watch the sun. You got to take care of yourself. I feel like he cares. He had a good bedside manner about him. He said he used to go to comedy shows back in the 80s. So I don't know what he's like. The last comedy show I went to was at Catch a Rising Star in New York. The place closed 40 years ago.
Yeah, really. They moved to a hotel in Jersey.
I've played it. I've done it many times. So I got blood taken out And I think any listener who knows me at all knows that I'm not good at needles. I had to tell my new doctor.
Again, I hate to be the person that constantly asks because it's just funny sometimes when you say certain things.
What did I say now?
They drew blood.
What did I say?
You said, I got blood taken out.
I mean, they did, though.
Yeah. It's just, it's a ridiculous way to say it. I got blood taken out.
I got blood taken out of me. How? I've never.
They drew blood.
They
had blood drawn.
They didn't draw shit.
Yo, they cut me open. You sound like a garbage man describing the one time you went to a doctor.
The way that you describe it makes it sound like I got like an easel out there. I had to draw blood.
I got some blood taken out. You're making it sound like teeth.
No, I got blood taken out of me. They had to do blood stuff, and I can't stop thinking about the blood process the whole time. Like he has a little consultation, I guess, with me. I go into his office. He's asking me about family history, this history. How do you do this? He laughed out loud, by the way, when he asked me, "Do you work out?" I said, "I play softball." He literally laughed out loud.
6 times a year.
Yeah, I play softball in the late spring to early summer, depending on how good we do. If we make the playoffs,
depending on the weather and my travel schedule.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. He literally laughed out loud. He goes, "Yeah, that definitely does not count." But I used that because one of my my last doctor I had, when he asked me the same question, he goes, "Do you work out?" I go, "Yeah, I play softball." He goes, "Oh yeah, that's great." So I thought it doesn't work the same. Every doctor treats softball a little bit differently.
What does that doctor also would get surgery? And he says, before we cut you open, here's a leather belt to chew on and a pint of whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, you play softball.
Methods.
Look at you.
I play softball. Well, my other doctor was much younger. He was around my age, which made me feel uncomfortable.
Oh, it's bad.
You know, because I'm thinking, if we have the same point of references on things, I don't know if that's right. I feel like the doctor should be older than you.
I had a cardiologist when I had to have a little heart procedure, and we're the exact same age. And I was like,
we've made some different life choices.
Yeah, we've got. I was hoping for maybe a transfer program. I was praying that lightning would strike the pond at the right time. I was wishing I would be a doctor. We could do a little Freaky Friday.
This doctor now, he's definitely older. It seems like he knows what he's doing. Did my examination. He goes, "You look great. We'll take a look at your blood results." So I got my blood results.
I took some blood from you.
Yeah, I took a little bit of you for me. I had to tell him on the way out the door. I had to throw all these things that I'm kind of sensitive about or whatever. I had to throw all of them at him as he's walking out the door that are kind of embarrassing. One of which is like, I'm just afraid of needles. I pass out in hospitals. We've talked about this. Yeah. I pass out in hospitals. I'm not good with needles. So he's walking out the door. He's like, "You could put your pants on. Put your pants on, and we're going to take some blood." And then he's walking out the door. Like, that's all he was going to say about it.
It's a great combo. Put your pants on, let's take some blood.
That's literally what he said. He goes, "Yeah, just go ahead, put your pants on, and then we're going to take some blood out of you." And
at least he didn't say the other way. "Hey, take your pants off. I want some blood." Where are you getting it from?
Or, "I want some blood. Take your pants off." So he's walking out the door, and I'm like, "Hey, doctor, just want to let you know that I have a history of passing out doing this." And then he looked at me like, "Got it." And then he tells the nurse, the nurse comes in. She was very sweet. She comes in with an orange juice, and she goes, "Yeah, well, you're going to be lying down because you have an issue?" And I was like, "Yes, I do have an issue." And then she proceeds to talk to me about the Celtics. She goes, "Where are you from?" I go, "Boston." So she got my arm out. I'm laying down. I'm freaking out. I'm looking at the wall.
Sure.
So I don't have to see it. And she's being sweet. She's trying to distract me. I don't know anything about the fucking Celtics, okay? She's like, "Oh, yeah, you excited the Celtics are in the playoffs?" And I'm looking away. I'm just like, yeah, Celtics. The Celtics, it's basketball, and they're in, Miami Heat. I didn't know if you recorded me of what I was talking about basketball, you're like, this guy might have a brain injury. He might have been hit with a softball in his brain, because I don't know what the fuck I was saying. I started talking about the Bruins and home. I was like, my mom is from Boston. She likes the Celtics, and she must have taken 14 gallons of blood. It felt like I was there forever. I've never taken so much blood out.
Were you watching?
Absolutely not.
Did you feel it?
I felt enough. I was like, and then it was in there long enough that I could think about how long the needle was. My blood is coming out of it. And then I'm like, oh my God, what if she nudges the needle in my arm? Or she's going to have to take it out.
You know that they don't actually, the needle doesn't stay in your arm anymore, right?
What are you talking about?
The needle puts it in, and then the needle retracts immediately, and there's a little malleable little piece of like silicone or something. That's what it's like, a little tube that stays in your arm, so that way the needle can't there's no harm that can be done. So the needle just opens it up and then it backs out.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's been like that way for a very long time, apparently. Because I
don't
asked
know
the
if that
same
made
question.
me feel better or worse, but
Well,
it is what
we
it
don't have to
is.
worry about next time you get blood drawn. You don't have to worry about the needle popping off because it's not in there.
I do think I have to go back because I just got my blood results back,
Oh boy.
and
Do
I
you
had
do the top 5 diseases we think that you have?
the top 5, my top 5 worst blood-related stats.
Number 5, he's an open micer. What blood? What kind of blood test
What is
this,
this?
Doc?
You're gonna fail. I guess like I have like really high triglycerides, which I had to Google that. I don't even know what a triglyceride.
I thought they went
is.
extinct in the Jurassic period. That was a bad joke. I apologize.
Well, I don't know what the fuck it is. I had to Google triglycerides, but apparently I got a lot of it.
Do you know what it does?
Triglycerides, I guess, cause heart problems, blockages,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty on the high scale.
It's called hypertriglyceridemia.
Well, that's like the disease. I don't know if I have the
No,
disease.
that's the name of having high
Triglycerides.
Can contribute to pancreatitis or hardening of the arteries, increased risk of stroke, heart attack, and heart disease.
Great.
Oh, boy.
Those are not good ones.
And here, do you know how to cure it?
Well, I was reading about it, and it said you got to stop excessive drinking and smoking,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't do either of those things. And you have to exercise.
Not
More than
just softball. And a healthy diet, yeah.
Healthy diet and exercise, I think, is what I'm going to have to be doing it soon.
You could also start taking a fish oil vitamin
Fish oil.
and B3.
Maybe I just take a multivitamin. They
Well,
got
if you
fish
got some
oil in
good
that?
fish oil and B3, maybe go for a walk every day.
I got tons of.
Do a push-up.
I got to start working out.
Yeah.
But my wife, who's a hypochondriac, saw those results, and out the door this morning, she wished me well, like I was going off to war, like I might not make it back tonight. She goes, "Your triglycerides are what?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know." She's mad. She's like, "You need to have oatmeal every day. It's heart healthy. You need to work out every day." And she goes, "You need to start taking care of yourself." And she looked at me like I was really doing bad stuff.
Buddy.
Like my life is in shambles. I was fine last night. My life was not in shambles in her mind last night. But she got the blood results. And
well, high
today
triglycerides could lead to.
could lead you down the road. Well, she just texted me. Let's see what she said. It probably.
She said,
Yeah.
eat some vegetables.
Yeah, she goes, make sure you don't miss your doctor's call. That's the latest from her. Because she's expecting the.
Worst.
Well, yeah. She said. So my cholesterol is high. My HDL.
What level high are we talking here?
What do you think? is high?
Elevated or I don't know, but like.
It says flagged as H, which I'm assuming means high.
Okay, yeah. They don't flag it H because it's good.
Yeah, not like.
Hey, flagged on your cholesterol. It's doing all right.
He is doing pretty good. Cholesterol. Do you know your cholesterol just off the top of the dome?
I know that every time I get my blood work done, I'm shocked when the doctor goes, "Yeah, everything looks pretty good."
Really?
I've had slightly elevated cholesterol before, but they're like, "Yeah, it's not like in a bad spot. Just watch the salt." It's really my blood pressure that I got to work on.
Blood pressure. He was pumped about my blood pressure. He
Yeah.
took my blood pressure, and he was like, "Wow, great." So that's all good.
I've had nurses do my blood pressure and go, "Ooh,
That's not good. Yeah.
No, it's not. But it's natural. Like not natural.
I
but
keep
it's,
all my
it's
shocking.
genetic.
All my shocking stats are kept inside, just in the blood work. But apparently, my HDL cholesterol. Oh, that's high too. I thought that was a good
Is
one.
this the first time you're reading these?
No, I'm going over some of the results here. There's nothing in these, like I just got the online results, which doesn't give you any, it doesn't tell you what to do about this.
No, of course not.
It just tells you who invented the test. Like it's like Dr. Jacobson in 2009, who invented this test and why it's relevant, but not what to do about it. So yeah, my cholesterol apparently is high, but my HDL is high, and my triglycerides are really high.
Well, actually, high levels of HDL cholesterol can lower your risk of heart disease. That's the good cholesterol.
So you want greater than 40. So I'm definitely over that by a little bit. But my regular cholesterol and my triglycerides are it's too much, man.
High levels of HDL cholesterol lower than 40 is considered worrisome. Higher than 60 is considered excellent.
So I'm in the middle of that.
There you go. So
I
you're
got a
good.
50 on my HDL.
Oh, you're good. Right down dead center, buddy.
Much like my grades in high school.
And much like that, you're barely going to get out of this alive.
Oh, God. So triglycerides is what I'm going to be trying to work down. I'm expecting a call from this guy today to talk about triglycerides.
And that's it, huh?
Concerning.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
All things considered.
Triglycerides high.
You're pushing 50? That's pretty all right.
Rhea actually told me today, she goes, you're 40 and you're going to be, I was like, whoa. I'm 36.
Yeah, it's a tough time to start saying 40.
She goes, you're 40 years old. You got to start taking care of yourself. I'm like, fine. Then you're fucking 42.
Yeah, that's tough.
So interesting morning getting those results. I told my doctor, I was like, I was just in Japan for 2 weeks and I feel like I was very close to becoming a noodle. So keep that in mind on my results.
Yeah,
I could have inflated results because I'm just eating sodium soups.
You should go back in like a couple weeks and go, let's do this again. Let's run it
I would
back.
do it, but like then I have to do another needle thing, and I got to talk about the Celtics losing or winning. I don't.
I
How many other
like I know
sports
anything
team?
about basketball.
Red Sox. She was very sweet, the nurse. She did make me feel better about the whole thing.
If you can make a nurse laugh, then you're golden.
I told her, I was like,
Because you're just getting dealt hands of shit all day.
I always make my nurses laugh.
Yeah.
I always do. But she was, I think she was maybe Romanian or some sort of Eastern European. And sometimes their sense of humor is, the way that it translates is not comforting.
Sure.
So she said literally yesterday, I was like, I'm not the best with needles, but you got to make sure you don't hurt me, And I said it kind of like that, joking, smiling. And she goes, oh, it's okay. I won't hurt you. The needle might. I'm like, what? No. This lady.
That Eastern Bloc humor.
Yeah. She's showing that Eastern European.
You know what hurt me was when the Putin killed my whole family. Anyway, here's the needle, pussy.
You think this was bad? Come early 90s to my country. But she was very sweet. After that, she was fine.
I asked the nurses to hold my hand when I take my blood pressure, because that's the most nerve wracking for me, because I'm like, what's the number gonna be?
Rhea held my hand when I got the COVID vaccines.
Wow.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's in front of a bunch of military people.
Yeah, first one I got was at the
brutal.
Brooklyn Army Terminal, and I'm in a temporary housing thing,
Sure.
that they roll in.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in there, and there's like an army guy about to jab me, and I have to like look into her eyes. A little tear comes down. I needles, man. I can't do it. I hope one day maybe I'll grow out of it, but maybe not either.
Probably not. No.
I think
You're
as you
already
get
40.
older, yeah, I'm practically 50 at this point.
Yeah.
I think as you get older, the needle in your brain gets longer, and the time that you think about it gets longer. And does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's
You develop like this thing in your brain that doesn't get, the needle doesn't get smaller in your brain.
No.
It always gets longer. And
you should think about like some anxiety medication.
yeah, I mean, or
Take
just
cold
like,
showers.
just fucking put me down at this point.
I've been taking cold showers in the morning. Not like cold showers, but like for like a minute or minute and a half, I'll let the cold water.
Just to shock you?
Yeah, and it's amazing. I feel fucking fantastic every day.
I have heard about the cold shower
Yeah.
as a thing.
And even if it's just like a mental thing, like even if it's not real and it's like a placebo, I still feel good. So who cares?
Does your doctor look in your mouth?
No, that'd be a dentist.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. This doctor looked in my mouth yesterday.
Well, they might looking down your throat.
Maybe he's looking down my throat.
Did he
But
do
I
the
felt like he looked
thing?
around. Yeah, I did the thing.
That's a throat.
No, I knew that. But then he kind of like looked around. I don't know what he was looking for.
He's looking at your tonsils, looking to see, I think mouth health. If you started picking your teeth, then I'd be worried.
Sure. He was probably looking for where all these triglycerides are hiding out. Probably
Just looking
somewhere in
to
my
see-
mouth.
Check out your noodle teeth.
Goodness, man. Well, there was a couple of Japan. There was a couple of Japan things I definitely forgot, and I'll be trickling in some more things I learned about Japan over the next few months, I'm sure. But one thing that was glaringly evident in Japan was the cleanliness of their bathrooms, which I don't think we talked about on the last episode, and I could do hours about this. I've never experienced bathrooms as clean and tidy in my entire life, and ubiquitous in the country, meaning airports, train stations, McDonald's, your hotel room. You just got to slide in the middle of a park somewhere. Every single bathroom was hospital grade clean and technologically on another fucking planet. If you would have dropped me inside of a bathroom and say you were in America in the year 3000, I'd be like, okay, this makes sense.
Wow.
I literally went to the bathroom. I go into the bathroom in Japan on one of the first days we're there. I sit down, and fucking birds start chirping. Birds. It like pressurizes, it feels you on the seat. And then just to make it so it doesn't feel embarrassing, just in case you have to drop something out, birds start chirping in your stall.
Wow. Are you next to people, just like stalls here? Or are there people on either side of you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did the stall doors go all the way to the ground, or can you still see people underneath?
I'd say most of them went all the way to the ground,
Wow.
and unbelievably clean. All had bidets. I will go on record to say I would put the Japanese must have the cleanest buttholes in the world,
Sure.
because every single toilet has a bidet on it.
Do you want,
Heated
according to the
seats.
internet, do you want to see why?
Why they do that?
Why their bathrooms are so good? Because Japan is a shame-driven society,
Mm.
and to be called dirty is the biggest blow to one's reputation than nearly any other insult.
I could see
In
that.
Hokkaido, pardon my pronunciation, 125 road stops that require two things: free parking and free public toilets. So you have to have clean toilets because that's the biggest honor to have.
And it reflected also in the people, how they dressed. I think we talked about it last show, but no one was like a slob.
Yeah.
You go to Disney, my Disney day in Tokyo, everyone was neat, quiet, clean. And then last week I went to Disney Springs in Orlando. Bro, it was unbelievable.
Just filled with
The
slobs.
slice of humanity that I saw at Disney Springs was disgusting. Kids screaming, bellies flopping everywhere. Everyone's slamming fucking burgers down their throats. It was gross. And I think the one thing about America is that there is no shame about how loud and whatever you're doing, like from little kids to adults, like everyone just has no shame that like screaming at kids in public, whatever it may be. There's no recognition that there's people around.
Right.
In Japan, for better or for worse, everyone was so orderly, and it felt like they just did not want to make their appearance look anything other than coordinated and rigid in public. And as an outsider, that made my trip very comfortable.
Yeah, I used to have an annual pass to Disney, and I'd go there and just be like, God, these people are despicable. Wearing
Disgusting.
flip-flops to Disney?
Ugh, sweaty.
Just-
Everyone's
ugh.
sweaty and fucking gross, and they got churro fucking sugar on their beards, and
go check around the world. Like, you're hammered by Mexico.
everyone's hammered.
Yeah.
And this was Disney Springs, so it's like free. It's like free Disney,
Yeah.
where it's just shops and restaurants. So it's basically Disney World without the rides.
Right.
Bro, it was incredible, the slice of humanity that I saw.
Disney people are weird, are interesting people. Because I love Disney. I grew up going to Disney. Big fan. Don't you dare call me a Disney adult. 'Cause those
Disney adults,
people
some
are
people can take it too
weird.
far. I don't consider myself a Disney adult, so to speak. I do like Disney, maybe more than like an average person,
Sure.
but when you see a Disney adult truthfully in the wild
Mhm.
at Disney, you're like, well, I'm definitely not that.
Right.
Because those people take it way too far.
Hmm.
A lot of lone wolves too, who will just go by themselves and just have like all the regalia.
I've been a couple times by myself when I had a pass.
There's nothing wrong with going by yourself. I'm just saying that there is some folks who are like Disney adults who
Yeah.
take it too far, for sure.
Because there is something great about sitting on a bench when you're in no rush at Disney and just watching people go by. It's the
People
best-
watching is
best
incredible.
people watching on earth, I think, is at Epcot and just watching the full psychos walking by, despicable people, and you're
Yeah.
like, why? You're like, am I one of them?
Yeah, I don't know. The people watching in Japan was not as interesting because you don't get as many variables. But when you people watch at Disney World, you're seeing the entire world on showcase. You're seeing how people eat. You're seeing how people interact. You're seeing kids, how they interact with everything and how the parents interact with the kids. You're seeing a full slice of life is at Disney World.
Was Disney in Japan? Because I know in the last episode you said that it wasn't very diverse.
Not at all.
Japan, was Disney diverse? Or was it the
Disney-
same? Disney Japan, was it diverse?
No,
Oh, really?
no.
Wow.
All Japanese people.
Wow. Interesting.
All Japanese people. All Japanese people working there and all Japanese people as guests. And that's to like the 98th percentile. There was probably 2% American, Canadian, British,
Yeah.
but not that many non-Japanese people.
Interesting.
But Japan is
Wow.
also just reopening. Like the country itself is only a couple months, believe it or not, fully reopened. They just reopened the country.
Wow.
So, and when I got there, they were only 30 days past masking regulations and all that stuff. So I got there, it was open season, but it was not that long ago that you couldn't do XYZ
Yeah.
and you couldn't even go into the country.
Crazy.
But the bathroom situation, I will say, what is almost a reason to go. It was
Oh.
incredible. It was incredible.
That's the top 5 thing you hear is ramen,
Ramen, trains.
the fish, the trains, the toilets.
I thought it was going to be overhyped. I thought that they were going to be clean, but what I saw was incredible.
Yeah.
It really, really was incredible. The heated seats, the birds chirping, the bidet situation. It seems like they got automation down. Technologically speaking, Japan is at least 20 or 30 years ahead of us.
Well, they say the robots are coming to take our jobs, but the Japanese have been robotic in
Yeah.
the way that they operate and conduct themselves. They're the robots that have already been here taken over. As far as like the automation, the technology.
And they don't do the
The
robots over there are
workforce.
it's very simple things that are automated over there, but it seems to work. And it does take a little bit out of the hospitality aspect of the country. So like, I didn't have one animated fun server
No.
at a restaurant. That
No.
doesn't exist. Or like no one who is very hospitable and helpful at like a hotel.
I would be that you probably would have noticed, and it would have been the weirdest thing ever to go to a restaurant, but like, hey, welcome to Tokyo Ramen Rammstein.
No.
that would be a great
no.
combo, by the way. A German ramen place, Rammstein.
They had an Italian ramen place, disgusting.
Yeah, you said. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was awful.
I took a picture of it. It was like margarita pizza ramen. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna dive into that. I think I'll stick to the classics.
Welcome to Ramen House.
Welcome
Where you
to
guys
Ramen-
from?
Oh, cool. I'm from Kyoto. Where are you from? Nothing. Not even a smile. I don't even think I got a smile.
Service, man.
Yeah. Service
Straight
lacks.
up
And
and
they
down.
recycle like crazy.
Yeah.
Manic recycling. I went to a restaurant and it was pretty. A lot of restaurants you have to bring your own trays or bowls back, which is kind of picture like a McDonald's type thing
Yeah,
where you have
yeah.
to bring your tray back to a thing. And they had 15 different recycling options, like one that said burnable trash, or that's I think the Japanese equivalent is it came out in English as burnable trash
Yeah.
but then it was like plastics. There was way more options for recycling, and with someone with their eyeballs making sure you don't screw it up. I went to one restaurant and I took some trash, like a napkin, and put it into a bin, and she didn't get mad, but she was like, no. They kept on doing this. Whenever I do something wrong, they would always go,
Did you see them doing that to non-tourists too? Did you
no,
ever
I
see
think it was
anybody?
just language barrier stuff. Like I'd
Oh,
walk
okay,
into a
okay.
restaurant and man,
Be like, I'm sorry, no whites allowed. You're
Yeah.
right, my fault.
if there was a restaurant that was like sold out or whatever, it was
I
very
hear there's a lot of scams in Japan too, like with all
Scams?
you can drink, 3,000 or 300 yen, and then you get there and they like charge you like crazy, and then they'll like threaten you.
Oh,
I've seen that
I
on
didn't encounter
TikTok a
that.
lot. A lot of like, hey, if you're in Japan, look out for these all you can drink, all you can eat places because it's bullshit.
We didn't drink that much over there in general, so we didn't look for
No
deals like
sake,
that.
no.
We dabbled. We tried everything,
Okay,
but we just don't drink like that.
yeah, yeah, I do.
I would. Well,
I would have been
a different type of trip, maybe I would have.
not even like Japanese whiskey. That stuff's expensive over here.
I didn't try any whiskey. I tried their beers were great. We tried the sake, which was great, but we did everything was just like a taste.
Yeah.
I will
That
say
makes
out
sense.
of
It'd be
all
tough to get
cities-
hammered in the city.
Yeah, and out of all cities I've been to in the world, being hammered in Tokyo would be very discombobulating. Trying to get home in Tokyo, it's a labyrinth of streets and signs, and you can't read any of the signs. So I could see getting drunk and lost in Tokyo would not be sweet.
Did you see any of that like salarymen drunken behavior at all? Like
Well,
where the businessmen, they're in suits and they're just like by the
Yes.
end of the night they're just like falling all over the streets and like sleeping in the middle of the street type of stuff.
So, yes, we did see a little bit of that. So in Tokyo, the trains, you can drink. I think there is no end of last call.
Right.
So there is like you can drink all hours of the night, but the trains stop running at like really early, like midnight,
Wow.
which is what I was told is like Japan's way of saying like this is when you should go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you drink past that, it's very common for people just to sleep on the street.
Wow.
Not just to wait for the trains to reopen at 5 or
Yeah.
4:30, whatever time it is. So when we were walking through Tokyo around the time of last call for the trains, which is when everyone bum rushes the trains to get home. We saw a lot of those like suit and tie Japanese who were like letting loose that we saw all day. We walked all through Tokyo streets during the day. Everyone's buttoned up, very rigid, everything that we expected. But from like 11:30 to 12, they're like doing the Macarena on the streets, and people are videotaping them, and like they're joining street artists, doing crazy dances and stuff. And it was kind of interesting. But it was only during those 30-minute swings of when they're just about to make the last train, and then you wake up the next day and it's like it never happened.
Wow. Yeah. That's like a cultural thing where
Yeah.
the businessmen there, they just part of it is like getting hammered because their bosses used to be forced to drink, and then like it's like this continuation of tradition to like you just got to get hammered with the boss. The boss wants to drink, so you're drinking with them. You can't say no, that type of thing.
Someone described it when I was over there. We had a friend from America who lived over there, and they described the way that the Japanese consider work. It's like we consider hard work as like results driven work. I think I think that's
Right.
like the American mentality is how much work have you got done. Where in Japan, it has nothing to do with like your results. You just have to be at the office.
Right.
So like you would have someone who's finished their work, but they'll be there for like 14 hours or 15 hours a day.
Because the
because
boss is there.
And it's like rude. It's considered rude
Yeah.
to leave early. So like you have these people who just don't even have much work to do, but they'll stay at the office all day for much longer than they have to be.
That's wild.
And so when those folks let loose,
It's a wrap.
they definitely get after it. Yeah. But definitely highly recommend the trip and talking to a lot of people since I got home, and it's definitely a trip worth going. I don't know if I would combine it with any other countries. Like there's a lot of Southeast Asia that you would go. Japan's not Southeast Asia, but a lot of places in Asia that you would go and you bounce around. I'll do Vietnam, I'll do Thailand, I'll do this.
Mhm.
But I feel like Japan is like its own place. I feel like you would have to just do Japan. That's what
Yeah.
we did, and I feel like it's very. There's enough there to see in one trip.
Well, we're going. Me and my girlfriend are going to the Philippines, I think, in January.
Yeah.
And because of your trip, and that I'm pushing to do a Tokyo, even just a couple days, just in Tokyo itself, not like get too far out. Just like depending on how much time we have,
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna try to do a big
Flying
Tokyo.
into Tokyo, you can fly into Tokyo is probably easier than flying to the Philippines, and then puddle jump.
Probably
which is
that's
still
probably
4
what
or
we'll have
5
to do
hours.
anyway. Yeah.
You fly into Tokyo, you could easily do a 72 hours in Tokyo. You
Yeah.
can totally get it, and then continue
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
3 days in Tokyo would actually be
The name of a great podcast.
3 days in Tokyo.
3 days in Tokyo.
I feel like Anthony Bourdain did a show that was called The Layover or something like that.
Yeah.
That he did 1 or 2
Basically,
days in
2 days in all these great cities.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these photos of all these just blacked out businessmen shirtless on the floor of the train. People just letting them be.
The anime culture there was a little jarring too. There's
Yeah.
some like the younger parts of Tokyo where the anime culture is very front facing is very different. It's like a Times Square, but everyone is like dressed up a little bit askew, speaking a little bit differently. It's interesting to see, man. Definitely.
In my mind's eye, I guess like people not from New York think all of New York is Times Square. That's how I think
thought
of
that too,
Tokyo.
yeah.
Is like it's all Times Square-ish. But
There's more. I will say in Tokyo, there's more Times Squareable places. Like in New York City, you're right. The only place is Times Square, meaning you don't get anything even remotely close to what that looks like. All the billboards,
Yeah.
the jammed up, like so many people in one place. Times Square is Times Square, and there's no other place in Manhattan or in any other
Right.
borough that even comes close to looking like that. But in Tokyo, there's literally 10 of those.
Yeah.
10 of those type places that you can come into the train station, and it looks like Times Square all throughout the city. And there's just way more people in general. I mean, there's 20 million people that live in Tokyo.
So many people.
That's like 4 or 5 times New York City total. Yeah, so I mean that seeing all the signs and the lights and the food, and there's so many more restaurants. I feel like there's got to be the most restaurants on Earth has got to be in Tokyo per cap. It's got to be.
What was it again?
The most restaurants in any city on Earth has got to be Tokyo. It has to be. I mean, I must have saw, like, it felt like I saw 1 million restaurants in my 2 weeks there. Like, every storefront was a restaurant. That's what it felt like. The most restaurants in the world, most restaurants by city, what is that?
San Francisco.
No.
Number one city per capita is San Francisco.
But no one lives in San Francisco.
35.73 non-chain restaurants per 10,000 restaurants.
Okay, but San Francisco, population-wise, is so much smaller. Maybe per capita is not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Per city. I'm thinking about city. Because there's so many people in Tokyo that maybe it drowns out how many restaurants there are.
Well, yeah, the per capita thing really screws things up because the number
Tokyo.
one is Yonkers.
What?
91% of its restaurants being locally owned. Oh, this is local.
Yeah. I think the number of restaurants in a city is, I think, what I'm thinking. Not factoring in population. That's got to be, I got to be pretty close. Tokyo's got to be in the top.
All right, here we go. The number of restaurants per 100,000 people.
Okay. What do we got?
I got to tell you, Tokyo ain't even up.
Really?
Tokyo's not even.
Osaka?
I mean, New York's like halfway down the list.
What's number one?
Abu Dhabi.
I don't buy that.
Then Amsterdam. Then Austin, Texas.
Nah, see, I don't
Barcelona, Bogota.
I don't buy it.
All right. Well, this is according to World Cities Culture Forum. And you know they're a really reputable source.
They're out there counting the restaurants. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I missed that bodega. Start over. 1, 2. It can't be right.
Yeah, every one of these lists is completely different. One's saying Tribeca.
Tribeca? Absolutely not. But that's the thing. There's only 4,000 people who live in Tribeca, and they probably have, 100 restaurants. I think the per capita thing is throwing this whole thing off. But I'm thinking about just total restaurants in a city. There's no way that anything beats Tokyo. I've been around the world. I've been to like 6 places. But it's okay. What are you going to do? This weekend coming up.
Oh, here you go. Top 10.
Top 10 what?
So it's New York. According to...
I don't buy that.
Yeah. New York, Oslo, Paris, Rome. They're all of these are going to be statistics based on per capita. There's no other way to measure it, I don't think.
I'm saying total restaurants in a city. Has nothing to do with people. I'm saying just total gross number of restaurants. No statistics about people. But maybe I'm off. I just think because 20 million people live in Tokyo, we're never going to get a per cap number. I'm saying that there's more restaurants, more options to eat in Tokyo than anywhere else in the world. That's my statistic based on nothing besides my eyeballs. But I could be wrong. I don't know.
All right, here we go. Most
Most total restaurants.
Most total restaurants. Here we go.
Okay.
And I don't think we're talking about. For fuck's sake, this stat is insane.
Okay, go.
No, I'm saying like it's almost impossible to get.
Total restaurants in general,
Because
just
it's
total
all
restaurants
like
in the
it's
city?
all skewed to like cities, and then it's like. Okay, what city in the world has the most restaurants?
Okay, there you go. What does it say?
Okay, there you go.
What is it?
Japan, 91 dining restaurants per 10,000 people.
Okay, so I was right.
Yeah. There you go.
That's all I needed.
Keep researching until I'm right, goddammit. All right.
Find
all right.
a statistic that makes
Fine,
me feel right.
Fine.
Okay, well, there we go. That's what I needed. I need you to find a statistic that validated me as a human being. This weekend coming up, we will be down in Florida doing a Florida run. So we're doing Jacksonville, Miami, and Orlando, which will be fun. Going back to my old roots back in O-Town, Orlando. And what do we have? Oh, we walked Taste Funny Weekend. I know some listeners are going to be coming down. So we went and checked out our hotel, did a whole walk of the resort that we're doing. And it's going to be awesome this year. Super excited. Got to walk the property, meet the people. Everything that up until this point was done remotely. So to actually go on property was really neat. And to see where everyone's going to stay and plan out all the events. And we have a couple of surprises this year, which are going to be, I think, really fun. I don't want to give anything away here, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and there's a few tickets left. If you'd like to go, you can shoot me a DM on Facebook or on Instagram, and I can send you the information for this year's festival. It's our third year doing it, which is hard to believe. Third year fest, and yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we can make this a thing for years to come. But got some great comedians coming down, and again, some surprises that I don't want to give away. But we'll leave it at that. I think. Yeah.
Might one of them be right outside the door right now?
I don't know. Open it up. Who's out there? Is that Joe? Hey. Yeah, yeah, we are. Well, you can come in. It doesn't matter. We're just about to be done. That's all right. You can put your stuff down.
What are you doing?
We're on the show.
What show is this one?
This one's called The Fresh Towels.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a comedy podcast.
Yeah. We haven't said anything funny yet, so thanks for coming in.
Recording?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
No, it's fine. All right.
Sorry,
Well,
well, thanks for watching.
Sean? You guys going? Okay.
all right. Well, we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Episode 15.
Thank you for listening to Fresh Towels. I've been Joe Gatto. What did you talk about? Did you say anything funny?
No, not yet. I talked about my triglycerides in Japan. Hilarious topic.
So to the two people who are watching, thank you.
We'll be back next week with another Fresh Towels. Until next time, mahalo. Deuces.
You just said it. Didn't you be here?